Hey yo, PC Monk here with another Bitcoin video. Now, before I jump into the chart, uh, I wanted to actually talk about today's news. As you guys could see, we got average hourly earnings and non-farm unemployment change. These two are very important, plus the unemployment rate. So these three are very important. So get ready for some volatility. Now, if you're trading the Hong Kong like me, I've been awake for basically 4 hours right now, trying to find some move here. Hello, Hong Kong didn't do anything. So BTC, first of all, we know there's news play. Okay. Second of all, we know we dumped it yesterday. Third of all, we know there were $160 million order around this area, 109,400. But guess what? As we were coming down, they moved it to 108,600, right around here. We'll show it on the CoinAnk later on. But overall, we're doing a pullback up from the dump. Started from there. If we turn you can see we hit the psychological high, came back, we held this area, this very small range. And right now we did a high and now we're doing a lower high on the same time frame, which is the 1 hour. Now, this is a 4 hour time frame, 111,780, right? We've talked about it before that if we hold this, we could go higher. I drew it even here. But then we were talking about it could have something like this once we hit down here. But guess what? We didn't hit this. We held above it. And then we did this move, right? This pink arrow move. But not to the extension all the way down here. Sometimes I actually have like optimistic, extension moves. I've noticed it. Anyhow, so from this range to the top of the range. Now, if you wake up and then hold, then that's a different story. Then you're aiming for maybe a higher short squeeze, right? But if you take a look at the 4 hour, all right, over BTC, you could see we had one big dump, a second dump, and that was yesterday's was the third dump, or not yesterday, Friday the 29th was the third dump, right? And then from there, all we did, we consolidated at the bottom. We came back towards the mid range of the last dump, which is the swing. If I want to zoom in, I don't want to like draw all the things because there's a lot of stuff, but there's a swing here, right, that you guys could see. We hit the top of the swing, 112,482. That was a great short right there. We dumped it a bit and then we held right above that 160 million, which is probably more now. We did a V-shaped recovery a little bit and now we dumping it back down. That's my opinion, by the way. Like I said, until we gain this 4 hour, I think it's short. Now, today, with the news that's coming, everyone could have their own opinion, but I think we're going to continue down. I think we're going to continue down. Either we're going to come around um, this 108, 887, right, which is this daily line, or a little bit below it for that 160 million to be filled, or we're going to go all the way down around 105, 106. We've talked about this on the previous videos. I don't want to go too much detailed into this area because I've covered it very good. I do want to talk about ETH a little bit today. So with that being said, basically I'm going to make the projections on BTC based on the price action, okay, and the levels that I have. That's always like that. So I've talked about the price action, I've talked about the movement, the pattern that happened at the lows. We held this for a good amount of time, 107,000. So if you really want to go somewhere, you have to break this. Okay, that's it. All right. Now I took it as a range. You could take it as a line. It really depends on where I'm looking when I look at the left side. So sometimes when I'm looking at left side like this, I take a look at the range. And this thing still stands. I've talked about the liquidation from here. I've talked about the liquidation around the current push up that we had. So there's a lot of liquidation below it around 106. I covered it very good. I'm still covering it. But to my 2 cents, here's what's gonna happen, guys. If we hold in this 109, 837, we need to gain 111, all right, 111. So this needs to continue up. Probably we hit around here, or we make a new high only from this high. Then it comes back to hold 107,000, 111,780. Upon the hold, there could be a long opportunity for a higher high, right? So, but if it really wants to do it, I think this is going to be your move. So we're gonna come around high 112,000, 112,800, somewhere around there. We do a pull back down and then we push it all the way to 150, 114. Now that's to the upside for, I would say, I mean, if you hold that 111, it could come here and then could come down. My overall is towards the downside until I've proven otherwise. Meaning by otherwise is when I come to the daily, okay, we are above the 50. That's when I will change my projections and I would lean into longs, which probably at the end of the month, by the end of the month, we will be at the top, at the 50 EMA, somewhere around there. Even by looking at it right now, if I just hide all my drawings and then we just look at the EMAs, you could say, you could see the EMAs are getting closer to each other. So we're getting a compression, all right? And when the compression ends is where we get some movement. But if this comes back down all the way to 105, 10, even, the 200 EMAs, we're talking about just by the EMAs, then we will have a little bit more of deviation, and that would be basically it for the EMAs. But on a daily time frame, what do you see here? You see one dump, you see two dump, you see the third dump. We basically have a triple bottom on the daily. We tried it. Now we're below the 50 EMA and we're at the top of the dump. We tried to go higher, we couldn't. We wicked it, but we couldn't go higher. So this would might will continue down. All right. Now, I've talked about that. Let's talk about the USDT dominancy. All right. I wanted to actually cover it less, but I did cover it a lot. Um, so USDT dominancy, I know there's a lot of lines. The important line is this line, 4.47, guys. All right. So 4.47, we still holding above it and still making a new highs. We did one yesterday and we're basically making higher lows. As you guys could see here, we held around there and then we pushing it back up on the daily. So yesterday we did this. Today we're gonna do whatever, but we're holding above the daily. That is an important level for me. 4.44, that's very important for me. As long as we hold this, I don't think we're gonna see a move towards downside on USDT. Okay. Now, at the other hand, if you want to just read the price action a little bit, we basically made a swing around the previous swing. We picked it up. We attacked the upper swing because this is in a swing within a swing. Okay. So we attacked the upper swing, which we had swept the highs. Then it came back down, but it came back down where? To the previous swing. It came back down to the line. It came back down where we held, pushed it, and where we got rejected. So this is the key level. This is the level that if it wants to hold, then you will see a move towards 470. If it doesn't hold this, then there are a couple of levels, but my eyes is at 4.24%, which is going to be right here. All right, so that's USDT. Obviously, it's just a reference to BTC. It's not what we TA and decide how to trade. Okay, now I want to talk about the CoinAnk because the amount of order there is just insane. All right, we've talked about the news, obviously. We know that the news are important today. Now it's time to talk about the CoinAnk. Now, the CoinAnk on BTC, as we are witnessing here, we do have a little bit of orders towards upside around 112,500. There's like a little bit of chunk order here, 125, a little bit. And there's like all these small orders, 1 million, 2 million, 1 million, 2 million, all the way up to 112,500. But as you go higher, and this is by the way 15 minutes, you really don't see much, right? You don't see much. And it's both perpetual and spot. You don't see much. But towards downside, the beginning is right here. 18 million at 111,000 flat. You might want to be asking, who's buying this? If we have, and there was another 30, million around 111,100 that didn't get completely filled. Somebody's buying at these highs. It's one guy, it's an institution. But ask yourself, if you have this much order here, and this is, we could just go through it, at 32 million there. Okay, so 132 million. What's the other one? I'm looking for anything big at 20 million, so that's 50 million already. Another 30 million, so that's 80 million. Another 30 million, so that's 110 million. And another 30 million, so that's what, 140 million, give or take. Maybe I missed the one or two because they're like so overlapped. So let's do it one more time. 32 million, 20 million, 52 million. 52 million, what is this? This is the 6 million. So we say 58 million, 58 million with a 10, it's going to be 68 million, 68 million. With another 5, it's going to be 73 million, 73 million. With a 30, it's going to be 100, 100 with another 30, it's going to be 130, 130 with another 30, basically 160 around it. I don't want to go too deep. When we have 160 million around here, which I'm not saying this is definitely gonna hit. This could be a spoof because the same order was around 100 and 109,600. But guess what? Around here we filled good. Right? If you see, we filled like around 50 million, give or take. But there's more to be filled. There's more to be filled. So why would you go 50 million at the top where you actually not going anywhere and there's no more asks. There's no demand, or there's no demand to the top side. Now I know there's a demand, like we call it supply and demand, but I'm trying to say like there's nothing towards top side, okay, compared to the downside. Now, this was just a large orders. I went into details because I think today is the stormy day. Now, if you take a look at the liquidation levels, you'll be like, oh, okay, we got a lot towards upside. Yes, we do have tons of liquidation towards upside. People were building their shorts. They're still building their shorts. So if you did short from all the way from here, like, what are the chances that you're going to add to your short here? A lot, a lot. In my opinion, a lot. I would have done it. I would have done added to here, but then I would not add to this area, but I would wait for it to go down to be sure that I added at the right time, right? So what I'm trying to say, and if you take a look at towards downside, around 109, 18, and the famous one, 106,000 to 105,000. There's too much liquidation towards downside as well. So the orders, the liquidations are there. It's just where the market wants to go. But we know the orders towards downside are way bigger, way bigger. All right. So I think we're gonna go down. I think 105, 106, somewhere around that range that I drew. With that being said, guys, how long I've been recording this? 13 minutes is one of the actually longest one. So let's go back to the chart. I'll talk about stocks and then we're done. So even the stock market yesterday went up. Now you'll be like, okay, bro, we're going up. What's your problem with going down and down and down? Why you keep saying that? Okay, so um, imagine when a good news is coming in or an important news is coming in, okay? And the market maker's plan is go to the downside. By going to the upside, first of all, you're getting a lot of shorts liquidated, a lot of shorts out. You're shaking shorts. Second of all, you're building hype for the fake move, which is a long. So everybody's longing now, right? And they wait for today move, but guess what? Today we just crash. So what I think is going to happen, Nasdaq, it's going up. It could even come all the way to this pink, to this orange parallel channel, but then it would continue to go down. I think whatever we did yesterday over the stock market, especially SPX, this looks like a liquidity exit for me, liquidity grab before we actually go down. This is, by the way, on 4 hour. I could put it on the 1 hour. You could see on the 1 hour, all we did, we filled this gap. All right. And let me tell you this, market maker doesn't like discrepancy. So if you have a gap at all-time high, okay, and you're about to leave the all-time high, meaning you're about to go down, you want to fill that first. All right. So with that being said, I think that is it. Nasdaq is still coming up, but I think as we're getting closer and closer to New York and the news play, it starts to slow down and probably come back down. But overall, over the whole crypto market, we could have a spiky movement towards upside. As I've talked about, if BTC tries to come back up, everything will pull up with it. Okay, so we will have more liquidation towards upside, getting liquidated, people getting liquidated, and stuff like that. Overall, I think we're going to go down today. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe, stay green. I'll thank you guys for all the support you're doing throughout my journey, and Discord and Twitch, when I'm streaming, and everything else. Thank you guys. Have a nice day. Peace out.